This evening, first, too flashy to be legal, police are cracking down on tricked out cars, colored headlights, tinted windscreens, and fancy plates. Drivers are being pulled over, fitness revoked, and safety put front and center in the traffic department's newest campaign. Plus, justice after 26 years. A man who stabbed his wife while she held their baby has finally faced the music. We have the emotional courtroom details of a brutal 1998 murder and the sentence handed down in 2025. Also, GECOM's warning to voters: play by the rules or face the law. With the 2025 elections just weeks away, the Elections Commission says secrecy is sacred and vote buying could cost you more than you think. Meanwhile, a giant leap for Guyana's oil industry. ExxonMobil's newest offshore project, Yellowtail, begins pumping oil earlier and under budget. We break down what this means for the economy and how it puts Guyana in the global top tier of oil producers. Overseas in France, curfews for kids. Several cities take drastic measures to stop youth violence and drug trafficking. Is it working or just adding fuel to the fire? All this and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 4th, 2025. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the Guyana Police Force Traffic Department is intensifying efforts to clamp down on illegal vehicle modifications, including colored headlights, fancy number plates, and overly tinted windscreens, altercations that authorities say are not only unlawful but also pose serious safety risks. Traffic officials have highlighted that such modifications often impair visibility, particularly during nighttime or rainy conditions. The Traffic Department noted that patrols have been ramped up along the West Coast corridor as part of the ongoing White Light campaign. The law requires vehicles to maintain 2 white front headlights. Still, officer says a growing trend, mainly adopted by young drivers, is to replace these with colored lights and decorate vehicles with unauthorized accessories. Fitness certificates are being revoked for non-compliance, and vehicle owners are given a short window to fix these issues and return for inspection. Officials also raised concerns over the easy availability of these illegal accessories on the local market, calling for the Ministry of Trade and relevant authorities to regulate auto dealers and enforce bans where necessary. Chairman of the Road Safety Council, Earl Lambert, stressed that real progress depends on both strict law enforcement and cooperation from auto vendors and the wider public. The Guyana Police Force has pledged continued patrols and charges for offenders, reaffirming that vehicle altercations must be authorized and legally certified. Authorities are calling on drivers, vendors, and regulatory bodies alike to work together to curb dangerous vehicle modifications, noting that protecting lives on the road begins with compliance, accountability, and a shared commitment to the law. On a different note, 26 years after stabbing his wife to death while she held their baby, 57-year-old Filbert Thus was sentenced to 24 years in prison by Justice Simone Morris Ramlal when he appeared at the Demerara High Court on Thursday, July 31st, 2025. Thus, who spent over 2 decades evading justice, pleaded guilty to the 1998 murder of Viola Thomas in Cobana Village, Region 1. The attack, witnessed by over 100 people, occurred during a community event. Following the crime, Thomas fled and remained in hiding until his arrest years later. The court heard that Viola, a young mother of 3, was holding her infant at the time of the fatal attack. During sentencing, the judge cited the vicious nature of the crime, Thomas's history of violence against women, and his continued reputation for aggression in the community. While acknowledging his guilty plea and expressing remorse, the judge ruled that the plea appeared tactical, given the strength of the prosecution's case. Thus will be eligible for parole after serving at least 20 years and is ordered to participate in rehabilitation programs while in prison. In other news, ExxonMobil is set to begin oil production from its 4th and newest offshore project in Guyana. The Yellowtail development beginning this week, marking a significant milestone in the country's rapidly expanding energy sector. ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods made the announcement during the company's second quarter earnings call last week. he revealed that the One Guyana floating production, storage, and offloading vessel built by SBM Offshore is on track to deliver first oil for 4 months ahead of schedule and under budget. Woods noted that this is the largest development to date. Further added that Yellowtail will add 250,000 barrels of oil per day to national output. With this addition, Guyana will become one of the top 5 liquid-producing countries in Latin America and the world's largest oil producer per capita. Exxon is aiming to reach 1.7 million barrels of oil per day by 2030. 2 additional 250,000 barrels of oil per day are set to boost Guyana's output, with plans for 2 more developments, including gas and condensate production, scheduled between 2026 and 2028 and between 2029 and 2030. Stick around when we return. GECOM warrants against election offenders ahead of September 1st polls, and Justice Roxanne George sworn in as acting Chancellor, Justice Narendra Singh to act as Chief Justice.
Hi, give me a minute now. I want you to clear something up for me.
Okay. What is it, ma'am? Why you look so confused?
I hear all this talk about elections and voting, but I really don't understand how this could affect me.
All right. It's like this. Once you were registered by GECOM and you were 18 years or older by June 30th, 2025, you are entitled to vote, provided that you are listed in the official list of electors.
Well, I registered and I'm over 18, but how I would know if my name is on the official list of electors?
That's very easy. GECOM is displaying the official list of electors at 2 popular places in the community where you live. Just go there and check the list. Or you can go to GECOM's website and use the search tool.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm going and doing it now. Yeah. My name on the list. I definitely voting at elections.
Nice.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Speak clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. With just weeks to go before the 2025 general and regional elections, the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM, is sending a clear message. Protecting the secrecy of the vote is not optional, it is law. In a strongly worded advisory, GECOM is urging all voters and stakeholders to respect electoral rules or face serious legal consequences. Voters and stakeholders are reminded of their legal and civic responsibilities to protect the integrity of the electoral process. GECOM emphasized that maintaining the secrecy of the vote is essential to free, fair, and credible elections. The Commission highlighted that it is a criminal offense under the Representation of the People's Act for anyone, including voters, to reveal or be influenced to disclose which political party they voted for. It is also illegal to offer money, gifts, or loans in exchange for votes. Persons found guilty of such offences face fines up to 6 months imprisonment and may be barred from participating in future elections. GECOM urged all citizens to respect the rule of the electoral process and help ensure a transparent and trustworthy election. As the countdown to Election Day continues, GECOM is calling on every citizen to be vigilant and responsible. The Commission urged all Guyanese to act responsibly, reject electoral misconduct, and play their part in delivering elections that are free, fair, and above all, credible. In other news, Justice Roxanne George has been sworn in as Guyana's acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, while Justice Narendra Singh will temporarily perform the duties of Chief Justice. The appointment follows Justice Janet Cummins Edwards proceeding to 2 months of vacation leave. President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali administered the oath of office during a private ceremony earlier today at the Office of the President. In a statement, the President's office said the appointments were made to ensure the judiciary continues to function efficiently and to uphold the principles of justice and the rule of law. Justice George, who has served as acting Chief Justice since 2017, now assumes leadership of both the High Court and the Court of Appeal in the absence of substantive appointments to the top judicial posts. The positions have remained unconfirmed for nearly 2 decades due to lack of consensus between the President and the opposition leader. Opposition leader Aubrey Norton, who previously advocated for Justice George's confirmation as Chief Justice and Justice Cummins Edwards as Chancellor, did not respond to President Ali's written consultation, saying it could be misinterpreted as agreement. Norton has also criticized the President's nomination of Justice Singh, arguing that more senior judges were bypassed for the acting Chief Justice role. Don't go away after the break. Irish missionary and 3-year-old child among 9 kidnapped from Haiti orphanage, and rallies held in Brazil in support of embattled Bolsonaro facing legal perils.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
What's going on here, man? Why the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man been in we house and thief all we valuables, including the ID card. Now election come around and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. Now we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GECOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GECOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have the ID cards.
But how they gonna do that? How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GECOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get for vote?
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening. I am Nikita Ford. Welcome to our regional and international news segment, which keeps you informed and up to date with the trending news story worldwide. In the Caribbean, 9 people, including Irish humanitarian Gina Harity and a 3-year-old child, were kidnapped from a Haitian orphanage in Kenskop near Port-au-Prince. Gang member allegedly breached the facility without gunfire. No ransom demands have been made. Haiti continues to battle rampant gang violence, with kidnapping and killing surging across the capital. Meanwhile, in South America, supporters of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro have held huge street protests. Bolsonaro is facing legal charges, accused of plotting a coup after his election loss in 2022. Al Jazeera Monica Yanakiev reports.
Thousands draped in American flags, dressed as Uncle Sam, waving posters thanking U.S. President Donald Trump for openly defending Brazil's former leader Jair Bolsonaro.
Trump is punishing our government and our Supreme Court for persecuting Bolsonaro. Now we're hopeful that things will change in Brazil.
Supporters of the former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro took to the streets across the country just 2 days after angry demonstrators burned American flags, accusing Trump of interfering with Brazil's independent judiciary. Trump has imposed 50% tariffs on most Brazilian exports to the U.S. starting August 6th. But his motives were more political than economical. He cited what he calls a judicial witch hunt against Bolsonaro. The former president is on trial at Brazil's Supreme Court, accused of plotting a coup to stay in power after losing the 2022 election to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Trump demanded the trial be halted immediately. Bolsonaro supporters in São Paulo admitted the tariffs will hurt Brazil's economy, but say it's a price they're willing to pay.
If I have to choose between fighting for Bolsonaro's liberty and the economy, I'll pick his freedom. I couldn't care less about trade. That'll change once Bolsonaro is back in power.
In Rio de Janeiro, the protests were led by his son, Senator Flávio Bolsonaro, who thanked the United States for standing up for his father and for imposing Magnitsky Act sanctions on Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes. He also renewed calls for an amnesty for hundreds of Bolsonaro supporters who stormed Congress, the Supreme Court, and the presidential palace in January 2023, urging the military to oust President Lula. Political analysts say Bolsonaro's base feels emboldened by Trump, who has also faced accusations of trying to overturn an election result.
I don't think that's going to change anything about the trial against Bolsonaro and against his allies in what regards the attempt of a coup in the end of 2022 and beginning of 2023.
Protesters here say they will continue to apply pressure in the streets. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has confirmed that Bolsonaro's trial will continue as scheduled, with a verdict expected by September. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, São Paulo.
Several cities in France are imposing curfews on young people. Authorities are hoping the move will curb violence and drug trafficking. Al Jazeera Natasha Butler reports.
The nighttime summer curfew for under 18s begins in some areas of Triel-sur-Seine, a town west of Paris. Police officers on patrol spot a group of young people. A mediator is called to explain the rules and they go home. Without a letter of permission from a parent or guardian, they can't be outdoors between 11 at night and 5 in the morning.
We have noticed a big change as some of the minors we used to see out who caused trouble are now staying home, so it's good for everyone in community.
Local authorities say the measure aims to crack down on rising juvenile delinquency and antisocial behaviour. while helping parents regain a sense of control. The mayor says it's about prevention, not repression.
It's not about punishing them. We visit families. Some parents are very involved with their children, others are not, and some simply don't know what their children are up to. So we work with them to raise awareness.
Some of the town's residents welcomed the curfew.
It certainly makes parents more responsible, but it is a shame to have to do it this way.
I think it depends on how old you are. At 13, 14, it's not normal to be out at night.
But these young men say the measure unfairly restricts freedoms and targets youth.
It's a bit unfair on 16, 17-year-olds who are nearly adults and need to go out.
It shows a total lack of confidence in young people.
Triel-sur-Seine is one of dozens of towns in France testing a youth curfew. The measure clearly divides opinion, and some people are questioning whether it even works.
In cities including Nîmes, where drug trafficking fuels youth crime, curfews have not stopped outbreaks of violence. Unsurprising, says the head of France's biggest police union.
It's a clear admission of failure by the state in its ability to protect people. Instead of going after the criminals, we're telling the victims to stay home.
A threat to civil liberties, political PR, or a step to safer streets. As the debate over curfews continues, officers in Triel-sur-Seine say their goal is to reduce juvenile crime and safeguard citizens. And for now, they say it's working. Natasha Butler, Al Jazeera, Triel-sur-Seine, France.
Despite 3 years of war in Ukraine and sweeping sanctions, Russia's luxury properties market is soaring to record heights. Al Jazeera Yulia Shatuvalova reports.
The luxury property market is booming in Russia's capital. Before the war, rich Russians invested in London, the French Riviera or Miami. Now the complexity of investing overseas due to sanctions, as well as bans on entering Europe or the US for many, and the unstable ruble exchange rate, means people are buying at home.
The premium class real estate market is doing very well here. Prices show steady growth every year. There's a lot of liquidity in the country. In 2024, the sales volume increased by about 40% compared to the previous year, and it continues to grow rapidly this year.
These are projects aimed at the most demanding tastes, drawing on Russia's rich cultural history.
This estate is called Residence 1864 because in 1864 the famous Kokorev Inn opened on this site. It was a place of attraction for the intelligentsia of that time. Repin, Tchaikovsky and Tolstoy liked staying here.
The most beautiful and expensive projects are located within walking distance of the Kremlin or on the banks of the Moskva River.
This is one of the best addresses in Moscow, close to the Kremlin and with fantastic views across the Russian capital. The sellers say it competes with similar properties anywhere in the world in terms of fit-out and features, but it doesn't come cheap.
But for all those who aren't part of the 1% in Russia, there are other types of property. Yet nowadays, there is little incentive for real development.
The previous growth model, which existed in Russia for the last 2.5 years, implied state subsidies and cheaper loans. But due to a high key rate of Russia's central bank, mortgage loans have become very expensive. Plus, less people are now willing to work on construction sites. All that has led to an increase in housing prices for ordinary Russians. Most have to moderate their appetites and not wait for their housing conditions to improve.
Sanctions have forced developers to use complicated import methods for building materials, resulting in higher costs that only the more affluent can afford. So for now, the growth in Moscow's real estate market is predominantly at the top end, while the vast majority of the population has to wait for better times. Yulia Shapovalova, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
Thanks, Nikita. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Monday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.